All right. So let's get into this. Episode 1. It is the duel. So man, right off the gate, this episode set the tone, man. This episode set the tone.
Man.
Oh my gosh.
My God.
So this is an alternate history 20 years after the war between feudal Jedi Empire and the renegade Jedi sector called the Sith, obviously. A lone warrior known only as the Ronin witnesses a legion of former stormtroopers attempting to besiege a small village. The Ronin fights the leader of the bandits, a self-declared Dark Lord of the Sith, armed with a heavily modified lightsaber. We will get into that for sure. While his droid saves the villagers. The Ronin, a former Sith, lures the bandit leader into a trap and kills her. And then the Ronin, shown to be collecting red kyber crystals from each Sith he has killed, decides to give the leader's crystal to the villagers. And that is that episode. I want to start with this one, bro. I'm not going to necessarily say that I'm not going to say up front that this is the best one, but for me personally, this is my favorite. This is my personal favorite. I really like the homage to it. It pretty much feels like Seven Samurai with this episode, like from it being black and white to just the aesthetic. Like I really liked it because we've heard before that George Lucas was heavily inspired by stuff like Seven Samurai when doing Star Wars, and this episode is pretty much an amalgamation of that.
Major correction, actually. So he's inspired by Kurosawa films for sure. This episode's whole plot is a reference to the film Yojimbo by Kurosawa, specifically that one.
Okay, that's why I have the anime experts to correct me. So thank you very much. But yeah, I love the black and white aesthetic. I like that this is the only episode that was black and white. I thought that was really cool. And then it's like it looks 2D, but it kind of had a 3D like enhancement on it as well, which I really liked. And it was like a paintbrush effect with the designs of the characters. I just really like that. And then as far as the story, this is stuff that I wanted to see from the movies, is that showing that not all Sith are evil. I like the twist that the Ronin, like they immediately assume that he's a Jedi because he wants to defend the village and stuff like that. But when he pulls out a red lightsaber, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a damn second. Yes. Oh my gosh. Like, it's still great. There's so many great shots of this, but it's like, I liked that they play with your expectations, being like, yes, a Sith is fighting another Sith and defending an innocent village. I thought that was absolutely great. I liked how quiet the Ronin was. Like, he didn't say a lot, but when he did, he meant business. I liked that there was one little part where his droid, the droid has a straw hat. The droid has a straw hat. Man, that is some Samurai Jack stuff right there. Like, man, they're going out there. And then the chief of the village is a little kid. Like, that was, oh my gosh. That, man, it's just so great. But
oh
my God.
I liked that when his droid got damaged, he was like, I want you to fix my droid when the teapot bubbles or whatever. And while that's happening, he goes off and fights the female Sith. Okay, let's talk about this female Sith. First of all, it's a black sister with a big old white afro.
That was straight Afro Samurai right there.
Afro Samurai, bruh. And then not only that, what is this? What does this bitch pull out? She pulls out a giant umbrella lightsaber. Are you kidding me? A fucking umbrella lightsaber. It freaking spins around around when the villagers, defenders, or whatever are shooting at him. The freaking helicopter spins around with red lightsabers all over. It just spins like a freaking helicopter, deflects all the blasters. I'm like, what the shit is this?
Man, no. When she did that Bosk lookalike dirty.
Well, literally, she came in. This is when I knew that this was again. I was like, okay, this episode's already amazing. Like I just already wonderful. And then here comes the Sith, which is one of the coolest designs I've ever even seen for a Sith, with an umbrella saber, which is the most logical choice. If you have a spinning death beam weapon, why not make 8 of those and just spin it really fast?
I mean, my thing is what she did to that Bosk looking dude.
Oh, bro! First of all, she freaking flies like Mary Poppins, and then freaking stabs the dude, and then makes the umbrella expand and slices him in many different pieces. I'm like, what the shit?
Yeah, didn't even stab him with the lightsaber part, just with that metal part, just through.
Like, I thought Grievous was like the most creative use of a lightsaber for a long time, with having like that many arms.
Man,
but then we had this. Maul and Grievous were like my 2 favorites for ways to use a lightsaber or lightsaber designs, and then this happened. And I was like, okay.
I think the thing that I'm hung up on is the fact that thing's a sheath.
Yeah. I want to make a note something real quick before we continue discussing this. So, do you all know what the term Ronin is?
Right, masterless
samurai.
Masterless samurai. So what I think that it's hinting at with that is that he might have been a Sith. Like I'm saying might because I'm like, there's a lot of ways to I interpreted it a little bit differently. At first, because I was like, maybe he just happened to be a Sith hunter who started to take the saber and run with it. But I feel like he probably was a Sith, and he's renounced that way and is figuring out his own path, which is why specifically he's just there, like hanging and happens to go to town.
Right. See, I mean, kind of going on that, I kind of feel like I interpreted it as he was just a general like force user. Maybe he had a master at one point. Maybe he was training to be a Jedi, and then maybe a Sith came along and like killed his master. After that, just kind of went on this like vengeance kind of like lightsaber crystal hunting thing, just killing Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, can we talk about the designs for the stormtroopers here?
Yes, it was so good,
dude.
Man,
I want that armor.
Yeah, bro. Man, sequel trilogy. Take some notes, bro. You want to?
Once we get to the sequel trilogy, where they've already turned down some ideas, maybe they look at this anime series and go, "Hey, wait a second, we need to."
Right. Why wasn't this the sequel trilogy? Wait, what?
Right. It's like, is there stuff that's like on par with Rogue One and Mandalorian as far as stormtrooper designs that didn't look cool? I'm like, man, bruh.
That is like the perfect like design for like a post-Empire stormtrooper. Just these bandits.
What's interesting too, I gotta say, is that like, so as I was watching this with my dad, he actually didn't like this episode because he was like, this doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like something else. And I was like, no, this feels like Star Wars and something else for me.
Right.
That's what made one win. I was
gonna say, like, it doesn't feel like Star Wars, but that's kind of the point.
Right. I mean, the whole point of Visions is that it's like these unique takes on Star Wars, on things that could happen in the galaxy or might not have happened, or you know.
I sympathize with them though a little bit because of the fact that like when I don't think he's into anime as much. Like he'll watch some anime with me sometimes when we get the chance, but like that's not his jive, that's not his thing. And I could see being repelled by this, like first episode, even if this is amazing, but like his argument that this could be its own show, its own universe. I'm like, no, that's great, right? It has a Star Wars name and feels to me it felt very Star Wars. Force powers.
I mean, yeah.
All the village stuff, the Saberella. I'm like, this feels very Star Wars to me still.
I mean, the way
to top it off is also very, very cool. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the way I interpreted it, which like, you know, especially like with episodes like this, where it was like, you know, something that's kind of like self-contained, I kind of figured like, okay, this is something that could have happened like, you know, at the time of like Mandalorian, like the Empire is pretty much defunct. You might have an Inquisitor that's like leading a rogue band of stormtroopers like terrorizing a village or something, and then this like, you know, Force user just comes along and just like, nah, that's not happening.
Going back to the the female Sith real quick. Because not only does she have the umbrella lightsaber, but she can also just pull out a regular lightsaber out of the helicopter one, and it's just like, does the energy transfer from the regular lightsaber into the helicopter one? It's like, is that how that works?
Yeah, I think that thing's a refractor, man, which is like why I love that thing even more. Is that like there's probably like a series of like mirrors in there that like it's implying that the lightsaber is always on. Like the fact these guys have sheaths like imply that the lightsabers are just always on. So that thing's just a like reflector or refractor or whatever for like that to just send that blade out into, and that's so cool. It's such a cool idea.
So I'm just like, it had the energy of like, because this episode in particular with the katana grip lightsabers, I just started to call them saber tanas, because that's what the function. I'm like the saber tana inside of the umbrella sheath. I was like, this is the
yeah.
It's a refractor. You're right. It probably is just a bunch of mirrors or like small kyber crystal mirrors in there, just shooting out in those directions. And it was interesting to see her take that thing off too for like a duel. She's like, I'm like that because it's not really a great dueling weapon per se. Because I'm like, it seems a little unwieldy if you were trying to do straight up combat with somebody.
Yeah, and it's implied
unsheath that.
Yeah, and it's implied that that's probably like made out of like Beskar or something that can withstand that lightsaber blade, which is really cool. I'm really glad that they like went back to the sheath design, by the way, because we haven't really seen anything like that in like official Star Wars stuff since Ram Koda, which is like,
Yeah. If Lucasfilm isn't doing and Disney isn't doing it already, make all the toys. I will buy them. I will buy that umbrella lightsaber.
I don't even have any Black Series figures, but if they did like Black Series figures for like episodes like 1 and 5 and like maybe 7, that would that's a wrap.
Or the katana saber, I will buy that as well.
If they make a Black Series umbrella lightsaber, that thing's gonna cost like $10,000.
Yeah, it'll be like Elite Force effects with like several detachable blades. Shoot, man, that
where's my priorities? Buy a house, go to Disney World, buy this damn umbrella lightsaber, buy a car.
You know they'd sell that at Disney World. It would be like,
for sure.
Yeah.
They could build a lightsaber at Disney World, and they'll be like, I want to build the umbrella saber. That's gonna cost you at least $1,000 in a gold, like a fast pass, buddy.
Hey kid, you got 5K?
Yeah, that'd be the most expensive lightsaber ever made. But yeah, man, I liked the Ronin and the Sith fighting on the log on the lake. Like that was cool. And then the droid comes in and just blasts everyone in the freaking village. I'm like, holy shit, what is this? It's so cool.
I thought droids couldn't attack since the Clone Wars.
And we're also just not going to mention the fact that the Ronin not only has a lightsaber but can also pull out a separate one after that.
No, okay.
Like from where he pulls it out.
So that was like the sheath for like his shorter sword, which I think is called a Tanto, which is like that. Like he just has 2 of these things, and not only are the lightsabers, but the sheaths are lightsabers, which is
like his lightsaber holder is also a lightsaber. What else can you make lightsabers in anime?
That's what the episode was basically them taking off the anime power limiters, and you hear like 2 giant thuds. You're like, wait, what is that? And it's like, saber katanas, lightsaber sheaths. We have all of it here.
That was like.
Also, droids can fight. I just to go back to that real quick. Why is no droid like this level of just badass? Like
that. I just gotta say, like real quick, that whole episode felt like I've seen like a bunch of like samurai anime before. It felt like that if that episode was inserted into an anime, it would be like setting up like the next antagonist for the protagonist to fight, like this rogue Ronin that just goes around murdering Sith. And the protagonist is gonna have to confront them at some point, which is like that. Like,
this is massive Black Samurai Jack vibes, bruh.
Yep.
So, with this episode too, the 3D animation, this is just a weird thing because I'm like, the 3D animation episode is so good. Where it looks wonderful. I like the limited use of colors, like the fact that there's only the red for the sabers, the blue and yellow for the blue and green in the background when the heroic forces, because what is the village gets the mercenaries to try to fight back against this against those stormtroopers, and then it's going okay until the Sith pops out. It's like, oh yeah, we had something for you guys in case you thought it'd be a good idea to fight back.
Yeah, I'm actually looking into that because I wonder if Kamikaze Doga. I wonder if they were like responsible for they did JoJo. That's why the 3D animation was so good.
JoJo's intro 3D intro animation.
So they did JoJo and Batman Samurai. Batman Ninja. That's why. Okay.
Oh, yep, that makes a lot of sense.
That's why it was so good.
Because I know JoJo's is my David Productions, but yes, they must have done the intro. I forgot the kid.
Well, no, they did the intros.
Yep, that's crazy.
Nuts.
So this is the most and also and that kid with his weird haircut looks like a JoJo's character. It all makes sense.
Yeah. No, see, the droid was just his stand. That's.
It was this noble steed.
That's his hype man.
I call this damn a wham.
Yeah. The stand's name is Technologic.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh man, but no, that's a good that nice Daft Punk shout out. I think that this episode, on top of setting the mood, on top of making it felt like an homage both to anime and its origins, and also to Kurosawa and the origin of a lot of the stuff from Star Wars being Japanese, like Jedi coming from the term Jedi Geki, which is the term for Japanese period films, which is what Kurosawa specialized in. So I'm like, it feels like a full nod to like the actual roots of Star Wars. Like when my dad was like, "This doesn't feel like Star Wars to me," I'm like, "This is the most Star Wars has felt." It just is in its roots, at its core, the ideas he was basically taking from for years.
I mean, I would say that this is the most this episode, it is my favorite episode, and I would say that this reflects what Star Wars is based on the original trilogy. Though Star Wars as a whole, I feel like was more reflected better in a later episode, but
on its own right. No, that's its own thing. I shouldn't say this feels like the most Star Wars ever been, but it feels like this is the most it's acknowledged its roots in a long time.
Right. I mean, like I said, I agree with you in the sense that it feels like the most Star Wars thing in regards to the original trilogy based on just how that was directed. But
All right.
Love it.
Oh, sorry. For me personally, I wouldn't say that this is my favorite one of the bunch, but it is definitely up there for me. I do like I just realized I never really got my general consensus on it. But I do really like the general storytelling and how it's so small scale, because you could do a lot in a small scale environment in less than 15 minutes, and they definitely utilized it very well. I love the designs, I love the animations and the characters, and just alone the character moments that I'm pretty sure we have all covered a bajillion times. And if we ever talk about it anymore, we're going to be here all day. So it's not my favorite, but it's like 2 or 3 for me. It's one of the better ones for sure.
Okay.